Welcome to Bridging the Generation Gap. I'm Joyce Zohar, and I'm from the silent generation.
And I'm Karen Zohar, and I'm Generation X.
What is the generation gap? People from different generations have different behaviors, values, different ways of approaching problems, and this can and often does lead to misunderstandings, anger, frustration, confusion. We hope that the frank discussions that Karen and I are going to have with each other will help shed some light on why we have these generation gaps, where the roots of it are, and perhaps can lead to better understanding of each other. Karen, what do you think we should be talking about today?
Today's topic of discussion is social media. I understand that you have some questions about it.
Oh, do I? Social media, the whole term makes no sense to me, and I hear it all the time. Karen, I've heard of things, well, Facebook, of course, I know, because that's an old one, but there are so many others now. There's Instagram. There's something called TikTok or TokTik, and there's Snapchat, and there used to be a thing called Twitter, and I don't know what happened to that. But anyway, Karen, can you please tell me what planet this is? What's it all about?
Okay. Before I get into it, I want to preface this by saying that of the four you mentioned, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, which is now called X, there's a lot of overlap between them. But what I will do right now is focus on the pieces of each that differentiate them, that most differentiate them from the others.
Okay, let's start with Instagram.
Okay, Instagram is a multimedia storytelling app.
Okay, break that down into English. What's a multimedia storytelling app? First of all, what's an app?
An app is basically a pre-programmed algorithm that's set up. It's computer-based, and it's set up to assist people with producing content that they can share with others.
I thought an app was that little picture on my phone.
What
that
picture?
When I hit it, something open, it says open the app, and when I hit that picture, it opens up.
Yes, that picture is called an icon, and that is almost like a logo. It's what you think of when you think of the app. And before that icon can appear on your phone or your computer, you have to download that app from the company that makes it.
Oh, and is that what the Google store is for, or because I have an Android phone?
Yes, the Android store is for
Google Play.
Anything that uses the operating system of Windows or Google, and then there's the Mac world, and they have their own app store. Okay. But if a company is going to produce an app for the public, for the general public, they'll make a version of it for all of the app stores.
Okay. And are they compatible? Like if I do something on my phone, because I have an Android, and I want to share it with you, and I send it to you, can you see it? Because you have an Apple phone.
For the most part, yes, and that's the good thing about an app. The app is the filter that takes the content from the content creator, puts it in a form that it can project out on the internet to multiple users.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. But let's go back to Instagram. Now, that's the one, there's something on my phone, it looks like a picture of a camera. That's the Instagram icon. Got it? And if I hit that, I get what? What happens when I open it?
If you hit that, you are in a portal where you can share things that you enter into the app with other people. And the reason why the icon or the logo for Instagram is a camera is because that's primarily what it started at. It was a way to share pictures with other people.
Oh, but I do it now, you know, with a text or with email, but this is just another way of sharing pictures?
If you want to text things, how large is the group that you would normally text a picture to?
Oh, 1 or 2 people.
And that's fine for texting, but on Instagram, you can put it out there and millions of people could potentially see what you put out there. Now, there are what we call controls on all of these apps, which means if you don't want your stuff out there for everyone to see, you can make your account private, but it still may be more advantageous than setting as a text because maybe you have an extended family, maybe you have 15 to 20 people you'd like to share something with,
I see.
and so you can post a photo and it's just a little bit more convenient than pulling up all those phone numbers on text or sending it out on email. However, when I say it's multimedia, it has evolved and progressed to the point where it's not just pictures. You can put sound to things. You can put video to things. That's why it's called a multimedia platform.
I see. So it used to be just a way of sending pictures out to larger groups of people, or if I had a video, I couldn't do it on my email because it was, you know, it would always say too big. So this was a way to get around that. But now I can use it, to reach more people if I want to. Apparently there are people out there who really want to reach the world. And I necessarily know if I want to, but I can see that some people, you know, use it for advertising or something?
They do. I'll give you one example where, for better or worse, it's really taken off on Instagram. Often people want to go out to dinner. They want to go to a restaurant. They may read reviews of the restaurant. They may look at the menu online, but maybe they want to see the food. Something that's become popular on Instagram is when people go to a restaurant and they get their meal, they'll take a picture of their plate and they'll post it on the review so that when people go to Google Reviews or Yelp or whatever they go to, they can see 20 or 30 pictures of the meal. So for people who are culinary aficionados, it gives them more information about whether or not they would like to dine at that restaurant.
Now, wait a minute. I'm at a restaurant, I take out my camera. Now, I just take a picture, and then I open Instagram, and I put that picture on Instagram.
Exactly.
So how does that get to a review?
You would have to post it on Instagram and on Yelp or Google
so that's
Reviews.
It's a separate thing.
Correct, but you know, not everybody reads reviews. Some people prefer not to go to Yelp, or some people they just want to Google the restaurant, and if you Google pictures, it'll pull up all the Instagram pictures of food at that restaurant.
I see. Okay, well, you know, I don't want to spend the whole time on Instagram because I have a lot of questions, but let's move on to another one. What is Snapchat, and how does it differ from Instagram?
Sure. Snapchat is primarily for the youngest demographic that is allowed access to digital and social media. According to Global Digital Insights, the primary demographic, 90% of the people on Snapchat are between the ages of 13 and 24.
Oh, and why is that? Why is that different?
Snapchat has some unique features that young people like. I'm not sure if you've heard this, maybe not from your generation, the silent generation, but in my generation, which is Generation X, we're watching our kids use all this social media, and you know what we always joke about to ourselves?
Yeah.
Thank God there wasn't social media when we were young and stupid, because then it would be recorded forever. And if you applied for a job in the future, someone might pull something up that maybe is less than favorable. Now, I mention this because Snapchat has a feature that you can send a short form video out to your friends, but it automatically deletes in 24 hours.
Oh, so I don't have to worry about, 10 years from now when I'm applying for a job, they find out that I did something really stupid.
It disappears, correct?
And that's true for all Snapchat entries, or you have to enact that, or do parents enact that? How does that work?
Parents do not.
Enable, I guess is the word, not enact.
All of them have controls, technically, but I would argue that the controls are similar to something you would read when you're getting a credit card, or if you're going for a mortgage. You know how there's usually 20 to 30 pages
Which
of a legal
nobody ever
agreement?
reads, yeah.
Nobody ever reads it. Well, when you download these apps, first of all, you have to verify your age, and then you also have to agree to their terms, which I agree, nobody really reads.
And nobody checks, because, my 12-year-old could agree to the terms. How would I know that it's a 12-year-old doing it?
This brings up the dilemma of social media. There's been some real positives with social media because people are able to connect with other people that normally they wouldn't cross paths with. However, it's been a portal for nefarious people to access young teenagers, both girls and boys, for purposes that we don't want them having contact with them.
Yeah.
And the FBI is on this, and law enforcement is having to deal with this now. I know when I was a teacher in a high school, we had several instances where certain students would post things about other students on social media that were completely inappropriate.
Bullying.
Absolutely. So I don't really have an answer for you for how do we wrap a nice rope around this and get rid of the negatives. All I can say is that, like any technology or anything new that comes to humans, there's always going to be pluses and minuses. So Snapchat is trying to give students or kids a little bit of cover by saying to them, this will not stay out in the digital world forever.
I see. I guess but you say that older people don't tend to use it. I guess they have gotten a little smarter, a little wiser. They don't really do stupid things.
Older people do things in different ways. They have their habits formed already. I don't think older people necessarily have the tolerance or the motivation to learn something new. Also, Snapchat is known to be amongst small groups of friends who know each other pretty well. You don't really use Snapchat to put yourself out there for millions of people like you do for Instagram or Twitter, which is now X.
All right. Well, that brings me to the next one that's kind of been in the news lately about who's going to own it, and that's something called TikTok. Now, what is that?
TikTok has become highly popular in the past 5 years. TikTok is known as a short-form video delivery format. Most of TikToks are between 15 and 30 seconds long, but they can be longer. It can be a minute. It can be 2 minutes. Also, if you don't make the video on the TikTok app, if you make it somewhere else and then you upload it already completed to the TikTok app, it could be 10, 20, or even 30 minutes long. That's pretty uncommon. The great thing about TikTok is it acts as a video editor, and it allows you to easily video different scenes. They can be out of sequence, stitch them together, and they also have agreements with many, many recording artists who have famous songs. And you can put a famous song as the background to your video, and you can type text onto it so people are watching a video, they're listening to a song, and they're seeing your personal narration in text.
Wow. So it's like one step up from Snapchat and Instagram.
They're all getting closer and closer to each other, but yes, TikTok is really popular because it's very easy to use. Stuff that normally you could only do in a film studio, you can now do on TikTok very, very quickly and put a short form movie out there. And TikTok is known for having certain videos go viral.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, I find it interesting because my background is as a science teacher, and I used to teach about viruses.
Yeah.
Plus, we just recently had the COVID-19 pandemic, which
Yes.
was the exponential growth of a virus amongst the human population. So that was a real proliferation of a virus. The going viral in a digital sense, in a way it's similar because it's spreading to many people quickly, but the vector for spreading is not biological. It's the fact that people laugh at it and they think it's funny and they may watch it 2, 3, or 10 times, and then the clicker keeps counting up that more and more people are watching it, and the more people who watch it, the more people who want to watch it, and that's how something can go viral.
I see. It's kind of like a snowball rolling downhill. It keeps, yeah.
Exactly, and many people make videos and they want them to go viral. Most of them don't. Most of them kind of peter out.
I see. All right. And then the final one is this thing called, well, I remember the little picture of the bird. There was a little bird. And
Twitter.
Twitter, and people tweeted. I never did it, but I remember, but all of a sudden that's gone. So what happened to that, and what is it?
Twitter is not gone. Twitter was bought by Elon Musk, and he changed the name to X. So now people call it X, but some people don't know that. So often you'll hear in the media that someone posted something on X, formerly Twitter, because it hasn't been long.
And do they still call it a tweet?
I've heard a lot of tweets, because Twitter tweet is about birds talking and bird songs. So I understand the analogy. Technically with X, I don't know if tweet fits into that, but so many people are used to saying the word tweet.
I see. Well, how does that differ from the other three that we talked about? Now, what do you do on X that you wouldn't do on Instagram or Snapchat? Snapchat. I always say Snapchat. Snapchat. And what was the other one? TikTok.
TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. So what does X do that the others don't do?
First of all, I'm very impressed that you called it X. You learned that right now, and you went right to it. Very good.
I hope I remember to do that. Yeah.
It's okay if you don't. Twitter, or now as it's called X, started out as text only. And it started out as short text. I don't know offhand how many characters you could have, how many letters, but it was...
I know. I remember. It was 120.
Very good.
Or was it 180? Maybe.
So a couple of few sentences.
Yes.
And Twitter was a way for people to put out there to the public things like social commentary, opinions about what they have about things. Politicians often use it to get messages out there when world events happen and people want to know what is their congressman doing about it, what is the governor doing. So a tweet is a quick way to give people a status update. Even police departments will put stuff out on Twitter based on ongoing and pending cases, instead of having everyone call the station and ask, what's going on?
Karen, you called it Twitter. It's X.
You're right. I stand corrected.
So in other words, X, it's an easy way to remember it, X. It's just for text. It's words. It's no pictures. You don't put pictures or videos on X.
It started out as just text, but as you know, in this really steep competition of social media, the different companies have decided to add on features. So now Twitter can have pictures.
So it sounds like this is all kind of coming together, and they're all going to be doing the same thing in the end.
If things moved along as they are now, technically that would be the case. I would argue that all of this is new, the past 10 to 15 years for social media. And it's creating a lot of new opportunities and new challenges that I think are going to change the market. So maybe that's going to happen, but maybe some of them are going to burn out. Maybe some are going to be bought by others. That brings up the question of, is there going to be a monopoly, and will it be broken up? There's all kinds of things that could happen.
Well, I don't know if I will be around long enough to see the results of that, but I have some more questions about what's happening today. I keep hearing about content creators and followers. What's that all about?
Content creators pitch the ball, to use a baseball analogy, and followers catch the ball.
On any one of these four things that we discussed?
Content creators put it out there. They release something, just like the pitcher releases the ball. And the followers take in something.
They're the ones who click on it. So is that what it means when they say somebody has 1 million followers? It means 1 million people clicked on that particular thing?
It means that that follower is interested in that content creator enough that they clicked the follow button, and they will be included in any future content that that person puts out. It's possible to look at one video or one picture or one tweet that someone has put out there, but if someone, Joe Q. Public or Jane Q. Public, finds it interesting, then they can click follow, and then they'll be in the loop anytime that person creates content.
Okay, well now, there has to be money involved in this. People, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of egos involved and people want to put their own things up there, but that sounds like a money-making opportunity. How do people make money doing this?
There are different ways to do that. Let's start with a platform that you're probably familiar with. Are you ever on YouTube?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Do you notice that when you click on a YouTube video, very often an advertisement or two advertisements play first?
Yes, I have to wait until I can click skip the ad, yeah.
Yeah, so that is one way to make money, is that ads can be put on your content. I have a short story about 10 years ago when I was teaching and I was sort of on the forefront of this. I put a video on YouTube that showed how to do a laboratory technique. And it happened to be a laboratory technique that was needed for British school students to pass their A-levels.
Oh.
And I got a lot of views on it. And now, every once in a while, I pull it up, and there are ads on it. I never agreed to ads, but I did agree to the YouTube policy when I posted it. So they're allowed to put ads on your content.
But you don't get any benefit from, you don't get a check in the mail, do you?
Look, I am just a tiny small fish in a very large pond. I think the most views I got on this, remember it was a scientific laboratory technique, but I was really impressed that I got 40,000 views.
40,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's nothing compared to 1 million, 10 million, 50 million. In order to really make money on this, a lot of people have to watch it. So there's a lot of motivation for people to be engaging, interesting, and maybe even controversial.
I see. So if I wanted to be a content provider as a living, because I've actually heard people, young people these days, what do you want to do when you get out of college? I want to be a content provider. They can actually make a living doing this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All I would add to that is there are so many people that want to be content creators, and there are very few that successfully make a living of it. It's kind of like back in the olden days when people said, I want to be an actor or an actress.
Okay.
Yes, some people are very successful at it, but there are many people that go down that path that never can earn a living doing it and eventually have to change their course.
Well, Karen, thank you for kind of explaining the landscape to me. I really didn't understand the differences among the... Are there other things besides those 4 that I mentioned?
Well, there are others, but there's something else I do want to mention, and that is there are other ways for these companies to make money. One of the ways, like YouTube does, is to put commercials on there. The other ways are for the companies that make the app. When you download the app, they will have access to some of your personal information.
Oh.
They may have access to your address book. They may have access to the cookies of the websites that you visit. Have you ever noticed on Facebook that if you do a search for something, sometimes those advertising show up on the side of your Facebook?
Yes, absolutely. If I buy something on Amazon, all of a sudden I'm getting ads for similar products, like they knew that this is what I bought.
Well, that's something I think users of social media should be more aware of, is that their personal data is going back to the companies that have the app, and those companies are selling that to other companies who would like to use that to get you to buy their products.
I see. Well, it really, so it's not just, gee, I'd like my grandchildren to see what I'm doing here in Laguna Woods, take a picture and send it to them. It's gotten pretty complicated now.
It can get really complicated. I hope that this is a first step in you understanding a little bit more about it. There are many resources that can help people learn more, but we're out of time right now, so I think we're going to have to wrap this up. But I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Karen.
All right.
And thank you for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Bridging the Generation Gap, and we'd like to hear your opinions about what we discussed. You can reach us at LagunaWoodsGenerationGap@gmail.com. It should be on your screen, LagunaWoodsGenerationGap@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, and if you have any ideas for topics of conversation, we're very open to that. Thank you so much, and have a great day.